Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly Live for December 15th, 2024. I'm Peggy Kay, and today there are updates for YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, Bluesky, X, Google Search. There's a whole bunch of updates this week. It feels very much like the various teams are trying to get all the new features out before the end of the year, and especially before their staff take their winter holiday. So I'll try and get through as much as I can. If I don't get through it, like always, this week you can get all the links and updates in this week's blog post or by subscribing to my newsletter. There are links in the video description. Welcome everybody who's here live. I see Jolyn and Craig and Andrew in the chat. Greetings. I'd love to hear what you think about this week's updates. So let's get started with an update from YouTube. This week, YouTube started rolling out its automatic dubbing feature to more creators. It was just mostly a test up until now. I think it was originally announced back in September 2023. It started as an Area 120 experimental project that got brought into YouTube. The idea is that it takes what you're saying in your video, automatically translates it, and then creates a dubbed version, so an audio track where people can listen. The way it works now is that you can automatically dub between English on the one side and then either French, German, Hindi, Indonesian, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, or Spanish. And if you have videos in one of those languages, you can have dubbing back to English. So it's not possible to dub between those languages, but between English and those languages. So right now they have rolled out this option to hundreds of thousands of channels that are in the YouTube Partner Program and that are focused on knowledge and information. Kind of makes sense, right? Because when you're talking about information, your speech is going to be much more straightforward than if it's like a comedy video or something like that. If this is available to your YouTube channel, you will see it in YouTube Studio on desktop. Go to the settings, upload defaults, and under advanced, there'll be an option to turn this on. I'm hoping in the new year, it will be rolled out to even more people. I don't have this feature yet, so I can't do it. And I'm a little hesitant because if it's dubbed into a language that I don't speak, how do I know if it's saying something crazy or not? So that is a big update. And of course, this means you may see more options for alternate audio in other languages on people's channels. If English isn't your first language or you want to just hear in a different language. So the next update, really quickly, YouTube announced several updates to the main YouTube app. So this is the mobile app. These are supposed to be improvements for creators. The first things are a simplified channel layout for new channels. So it doesn't have all the stuff. You can just get started with some simple tabs. It will also show you your public subscribers. So right now you can only see that in YouTube Studio on desktop, I think. And if people have their subscriptions set to public, you can see them. Then you can also, it also will let you see all of your videos. So in the YouTube app now, you can't actually see videos that aren't public on your channel. Now you can see private videos, drafts, scheduled videos, members only videos, and you can sort them by oldest or newest or most viewed. Again, this is for creators who want to be able to see and manage the videos in the main YouTube app. And then there's simplified channel analytics and what they're calling data stories. So again, you can get a good overview of how your channel's doing without having to open the YouTube Studio mobile app, which has a lot more details. So the other big announcement this week, or big update this week, a few weeks ago, YouTube said, oh, there's going to be an update to its AI-powered inspiration tools. Those should now be rolling out. You can now find the inspiration tool as a tab in YouTube Studio with the content. Previously, it was with analytics, which kind of didn't really fit that well. Now, if you go into YouTube Studio, go to the content tab, and you should see the new inspiration options, and it will let you brainstorm a new video. It can give you a whole outline, different suggestions for titles, suggestions for thumbnails that you can download. And I'll just show, this is the inspiration tab for my channel. Some suggestions it has. This option is available in YouTube Studio, again, in all countries except in the European Union, UK, and Switzerland. Maybe in the new year, Europe will get more AI features, or maybe they have the right idea about privacy and so forth. See how that plays out. The output right now is only in English, so keep that in mind. Andrew says, I hope Peggy isn't having trouble. About what? Is there an issue with the live stream? Please let me know. No trouble here that I can see. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to mention for YouTube, YouTube had a whole article about how people are watching on TVs and new features for TVs. They are piloting a new thing that's called Watch With, and it's for creators to provide live commentary, analysis, and real-time reactions to sporting events. And let's see, YouTube says it transforms your favorite creators into sportscasters. While the feature is still in its early days, get ready for this experience coming soon to a TV near you. So this is interesting if you're into watching sports or you have video content about sports. I think this is kind of potentially an exciting feature, especially if people are watching on TVs a lot. Right, so I'm going to shift gears now. Those were the updates for YouTube. This week, Twitch released their 2024 recap. Everybody, except maybe YouTube, has a recap. If you are a Twitch viewer or a Twitch streamer, you can get your recap in your Twitch account. It's at twitch.tv/annual-recap. You can get your total hours that you watched live streamers, your most watched categories and games, the top streamers you watched, your most used emotes, and if you're a streamer, you can get number of hours you stream, new followers and subs, and all those kinds of statistics. Twitch also shared a bunch of their own stats where they have 21.4 million active streamers, 9.5 million new streamers in 2024, and 879 million hours streamed. It sounds like a lot. I have to look and see how that actually compares to other streaming platforms like YouTube. The top tags for 2024 were chill, ADHD, anime, and Pokemon. So that kind of gives you a sense of what the vibe is there. Interesting, it's not all gaming tags that were the most popular. I think Twitch has a lot of non-gaming content that people may not be familiar with. So the other update for Twitch is that they added a new feature for collaborations called Shared Viewership. So this is basically when streamers are collaborating using Twitch's tools and they are sharing audio and video together and have a shared chat. Twitch is basically going to combine all the views from those streamers' channels into one big number, right? So you're getting the total number of viewers, not just for each individual channel that's participating, but overall. So this is pretty straightforward. It's actually really good for collabs because it will make those collaborative live streams rise to the top of the list if you're sorting by the number of viewers. Right, so this makes these collaborative live streams stand out more. And if you're a streamer, you can also get the stats for individuals viewing your specific channel only. But this new shared viewership will give people a better picture of how many people total are watching this live stream with the shared chat. Twitch is kind of pushing these collaborative features. I think going into 2025, we'll see more of that. It's a way of building community and so forth. A couple of caveats to this. This will not affect a creator's path to partner. So Twitch has certain minimum requirements to become a partner. You can't use the shared viewership numbers to get to be a partner. That's still going to be based on your individual channel. And it won't affect the number of people who see ads on a channel. Regarding monetization, this is a quote from Twitch. They say, "We believe there is a significant value in better supporting the monetization of collaborative content, and we are actively exploring opportunities to do so in the near future." Yeah, that means there's no monetization options specifically for this right now. So that is what's happening on Twitch. I think this is the last video update this week. There was an update to Reels on Instagram. They launched something called Trial Reels. And what this lets you do, if you set your reel to be a trial, it won't push this to your followers. Instead, it kind of just puts it out there and you can see how it does in the general population. And then if you think the statistics look good on it, you can flip a switch and publish it as usual. So when it's in the trial phase, it won't even appear on your Instagram profile. It seems a little weird to me, actually, because you would think someone's followers would be the most interested and that general interest might not show that, but this lets you see if there's kind of general interest in your reel. I have another. Yes. And so there's more information about that if you're posting reels. This seems obviously very geared towards people who are creators, official creators who want to maximize the number of views on what they post. Also, over on Meta, that slide may be too small for anybody to see, but in August, Meta launched a program that let Facebook creators remove their first policy violation strike by going through an education program. YouTube has something similar to this. If you get your first community guidelines warning, you can be educated and have that removed. So they're expanding this. Meta is expanding this program from Facebook also over to Instagram. So when someone violates a policy for the first time, usually they'll see a notification with two options, either to appeal the decision or remove the warning. So if you choose remove the warning, you go through an educational course on the policy. And then once you go through that, the strike and any restrictions that are on your account will be removed. You can do this once every 12 months for first-time strikes. And if it's a really severe policy violation, they're not going to offer this option. So that is interesting that they're more into educating people. I think it makes sense, right? If you want to have a healthy ecosystem on your platform, there are good actors and there are bad actors. There's bad actors who are violating the policies knowingly. And then there are people who just maybe don't realize that what they're doing will be a policy violation. This gives the good people a second chance without having restrictions on their account. So I'll mention to Andrew, I'm glad you got the live stream sorted out. I don't know why it doesn't start automatically sometimes, but it's not me, it's YouTube. So the last sort of monetization related update I wanted to mention this week is that X has added more restrictive eligibility requirements to its creator program. So the X creator program has gone through a bunch of changes over time. It was ad revenue sharing. A few months ago, they changed that. So it's now just based on engagement from people who are paying for a premium subscription, what they call verified users. So people who have a little check mark. The update is that now to be eligible for this creator revenue sharing, you need to have at least 5 million organic impressions over the past 3 months, and you must have at least 2,000 X Premium subscribers as followers, which kind of makes sense, right? Because your earnings are only based on what those X Premium subscribers, how they engage with your content. So if you don't have very many of those subscribers following you, you're probably not going to earn enough to even cash out. So people aren't happy about this. Whenever you make it more difficult to join something, people are not pleased. But in this particular case, looking at the comments on this post over on X, some people are unhappy because they applied for this program like a year ago, and they've been taking a really long time to review applications, maybe because they don't have enough staff to do that. And now they've changed the eligibility requirements. So some people who would have been eligible a year ago aren't eligible now. And this is especially frustrating because to join the creator revenue sharing program, you have to be an X Premium subscriber. So these people have been paying for the subscription for months and months while they waited for their application to be reviewed. And now it's like, nope, sorry, you're not eligible anymore. So this seems not great. And that's one of the real downsides of requiring people to pay to be eligible to monetize. It works out great for those accounts that get approved quickly, but for everyone else, that seems kind of shady. So the other thing that they noted is that if you are eligible and you get monetized, if your stats fall below the eligibility thresholds, you won't lose your monetization status. That's always a concern, right? Things change and maybe you're not eligible anymore. So I want to say thanks for everybody chatting about this. Let me just I say hello to Sifa. Thank you for joining me today. And Andrew says, it sounds a lot like the old circles. Oh, yes. I loved Google Plus circles. I sort of have the kind of brain I like to organize things. I enjoy organizing things into categories. Circles was really my vibe completely. I'm not sure that many other people were interested in organizing the people they follow into groups. But I think it has a real power to be able to limit what you post, what you share to a specific group. And as they say, RIP to Google Plus. Maybe someday it will work. So I wanted to mention something big that people are talking about, I don't have a slide for, is that TikTok, as you know, there was earlier this year, Congress passed a law. It's like banning TikTok. It's like, well, you either have to shut down or be sold and totally controlled by people in the US. And this week, TikTok had filed paperwork to say, look, can you postpone this? There's a new administration coming in, and so forth. And the judge said no. So right now, the schedule is January 19th. That's the deadline. It's not clear what's going to happen. Some people are saying, well, there will actually be an extension. Some people say, oh, well, TikTok will just get sold to somebody and it will continue. Who knows? Theoretically, it's possible that TikTok won't be available in the US after January 19th. And of course, creators there are quite concerned about this. So I think we'll see more creators on Instagram and YouTube in particular, people who are mostly on TikTok now who want to find new audiences. So we'll see what happens. That is going to be interesting times in January. So a couple more social media updates. The first thing is Bluesky. Again, it's still taking off. And Bluesky said, these numbers are kind of incredible. In the past month, over 12 million people joined Bluesky. And that's really significant because we're talking, it only opened up to the public at the beginning of this year. It really only took off over the past month or two. And this is incredible. Their daily active users have increased tenfold. And the important things that this is an issue for moderation. And they say they received more reports on possible policy violations, people reporting posts and so forth. They received more reports in 2 days than all of last year. So they are trying to ramp up their systems and they're trying to clarify their moderation policy. It's been rocky. And so the couple of updates that they made this week, it's not really an update, more a clarification of how they moderate. The first is that they said that they're really going to focus on behavior on the Bluesky platform instead of behavior people have on other platforms. And the other update they said is that it is within their policy. So you are allowed to share screenshots of Bluesky posts with commentary as long as the commentary doesn't violate policy. These sound completely reasonable, except bad actors actually use these kinds of things to skirt the policy. So there's people who will be on another platform and say, oh, look at this terrible person over on Bluesky. Look at this stupid thing they post. Or on Bluesky, if they're blocked by someone, they can, sign out and see that post, and then they share a screenshot. They say something relatively innocuous sometimes, but their followers know, oh, look, this poster is highlighting this person. Let's go harass them. So these are actually vectors of harassment sometimes. It's not clear how this is going to work out, but you can't just focus on your particular platform these days because people are on lots of platforms and they organize the bad stuff on other platforms so that they don't get removed from Bluesky. I don't know how they're going to handle this. They're obviously going to have to hire more people. And then over on Threads, they're taking a page from Bluesky's book and they're testing their version of starter packs. It's curated collections of profiles. Currently, it's just a small number of invited people who are making these lists, but eventually everyone will be able to do that. Whoops, that's not relevant. Everyone will eventually be able to do this, make a list on a particular topic. Again, it's like a starter pack. You can follow individuals that are recommended, or you can follow everyone all at once. So Threads is kind of following what's popular on Bluesky. It's kind of interesting to see that, but Meta is such a big company. All right. I want to say hello and happy holidays to Nina, posting as the On eBoard channel, and happy holidays. Immediately after this live stream, there's another live stream over on eBoard. We're going to do sort of a year-end roundup there, and everyone's welcome to join us. Okay, a couple quick updates. I have a couple minutes left. If you have a website, Google Search Console now has a 24-hour report, so you can see how your website is performing over the past 24 hours. You can look at that in Search Console performance reports. You can see all the stats there. One thing Google has done is made sure that the data is fresher there. So there's only a couple hours lag in the data. And the other thing that they're doing is on the insights. So if you go into Search Console, you get insights about your website. It's like, oh, you reached a new achievement, certain number of people clicking your link from search and so forth. Going forward, that's only going to have data from Search Console, not Google Analytics, just to keep it more focused on how your website is performing in search. Now, there's a couple other updates for website owners and bloggers. You can see it in this week's newsletter and blog post. The litigation between WP Engine and Matt Mullenweg and Automattic has an update where Matt Mullenweg and Automattic lost. WP Engine has a preliminary injunction against them to say, oh, look, you've got to reset everything back to the way it was before all this litigation started. So WP Engine will regain access to WordPress.org and managing their plugins there. There's also a state of the word end of the year keynote for WordPress on Monday. That should be interesting because Matt Mullenweg has a hard time not running his mouth. All right. And the last thing I'll just mention is that there is a new Reddit answers. I think they're testing this in the US. This is AI-powered searches for tutorials and how-to things. It specifically searches just Reddit. So it's kind of like a souped-up Reddit search engine. And it seems okay so far. It makes sense that Reddit wants people to do the searches on Reddit and not on Google search. So it keeps everything sort of in-house. And look to that expanding more over the next year. There were a bunch of updates to Google's AI this week, and you should definitely read this week's roundup for more details. So that's all I have time for. Thank you so much for joining me live today. I hope to see you again next week, and I hope you're having a wonderful holiday month. Thank you, everyone,